say it never rains in Southern California, but it's pouring in the Bay.
Okay, how is she as a mother? Spirit says that as a mother, she's very she has two sides to her. You know, on one hand, she's not very emotional with her children. She's like a by the book mom. You know, she's like I try to teach my kids the best that I can. She's overly protective of them, and she tries to teach them how to be private and keep their business to themselves. She doesn't like for them to reveal things to, you know, she teaches her children to, you know, open up to mommy, but don't open up to anyone else. The Two of Cups is saying that she tries to build a very close friendship with her children. I don't know if she has multiple, but I do know that she has one son. The Three of Coins is saying that she provides for her children to the best of her ability. Like, she still gives them money, and she financially supports them. She's going to make sure that her kids are okay. So, mainly as of right now, they're saying that she rears her children more than the husband does, and she is the one that gives them money, not so much him. I'm not sure exactly what role that he plays though. But we're gonna save that question for a reading specifically about him. So if you have questions about Wendy Williams' husband Kevin, please make sure to leave them in the comments. Okay, so now we're going to ask about how does Wendy Williams feel about the gossip that she speaks about, that she discusses? How does she personally feel? Spirit feels she feels like, okay, Wendy Williams feels like she's doing it's her God-given duty to do this. But she feels like because it's not illegal to do what she's doing, it's not wrong. With that being said, she also feels like her doing her work protects her from other people scrutinizing her, or it should protect her from other people scrutinizing her. Because on one hand, she's like, the public can never reach me because they don't have a platform to reach me, so they'll say mean things, but they say mean things about all celebrities. And on another level of it, she doesn't worry about drama or gossipy fireballs being thrown at her from laterally from her colleagues in the entertainment industry, because she has information about them as well, and she knows that if they're talking about her and she can defend herself, it's only going to drive up her rating. So she, in the long run, she benefits from any type of beef with other celebrities, but she doesn't want her personal business to get out there, and I've already explained how that hurts her. The Six of Cups is saying that she feels that the audience the audience members are her children. She really loves her fans, and she feels like she's giving the tea to, literally she's like, I'm like giving the tea to my fans, and she feels like she's in communion with her fan base when she's doing her show. The Eight of Swords, the Five of Coins, and the Knight of Wands are saying that Wendy Williams feels like she's done so much. She feels like she can't get out of this industry now. Not like she sold her soul, but she feels that her brand is so attached to it that she can't not do it. She feels like the essence of who she is to work in entertainment and to be in other people's business. She's like, it's the best of both worlds. She's getting paid to do what she loves. The Knight of Wands is saying that she every day she gets up and she she snaps into like this robotic mode, and she tells herself, all right, I've got my coffee, I've got my form fitting dress, I've got my wig, and now it's time to get out here and take care of my babies. The Eight of Swords is saying she feels trapped and tied up in the relationship because she, just as any mother feels like she has to protect her children, whether they're living or they're dead. She feels the same way about her audience. She has to provide for her audience, whether they're living or they're dead. Wendy Williams would do the show to no audience if she could, because she loves it that much. The Five of Coins is saying that her, if she didn't do this work, she can't parlay herself into other avenues. This is the only type of work that she really can do, and be respected. So that's how she feels about it at night. As far as how her ancestors feel about the work that she does, her ancestors feel similarly to how she does. They're like, she's playing within the rules of society. She's not in jail. She's not out here killing people. Her ancestors are very black and white about things. They care mainly about her feeling fulfilled. So her ancestors feel like as long as she's spiritually fulfilled, they don't really care if who gets hurt. They don't really care as much who gets hurt, in her doing her work. Her ancestors, again, like I said earlier, if you don't do it, they can't misconstrue it. If you don't say it, they can't replay it. So her ancestors feel like if the person puts the energy out there, it's up to her to manipulate it for how she wants. But they really care mainly if she does it for profit, as the Knight of Coins shows. They're like, do it for profit though. Okay, so the next questions that I'm going to answer are: what's next for Wendy Williams' career? What happened when she fainted on live television? How does she feel about Whitney Houston threatening her in that interview? And I also want to know how did she feel about Biggie? So the question that I'm going to ask now is, what's next for Wendy Williams' career? Wendy Williams is going to be putting up a really huge fight, with she's putting up a huge fight for her contract right now. I think that things are really unstable with whether she's going to be able to stay the number one talk show. I feel as though she's very nervous about what's coming for her next. She's trying to pretend this, like, I feel like in public she's trying to show us like I'm not breaking a sweat, but deep down she's kind of like her knees are knocking. Because she's like, she's trying to make sure that she's not going to get replaced. Spirit is saying that she's planning to she's planning to block other people from sitting in her chair. I don't think that she was too happy about. I feel like other people have sat in her chair or temporarily replaced her. I don't get that she's too fond of that. She's working on. She's trying to stay where she is. She's comfortable in her position. Like doing the Wendy show, she's happy with this. She's happy with she's not exactly happy. I'm not hearing that she's really happy with her production team. I'm hearing that she kind of just goes back and forth with them. Like they don't really get along like that. But I hear that she likes where she is. She's very comfortable. She wants more of it. I'm not sure if that's going to. Well, actually, let me ask that. Will she stay where will she stay in her position? Spirit is saying that Spirit, again, they're saying one of two things is going to happen. They're saying that either she's going to stay on this job and end up going through hell in her marriage, or basically it's like divorce, or she's going to leave her show by force. It's like she can't really have both. And I feel like it's weighing a lot on her heart, because she cares a lot about her career. She cares a lot about her marriage, and she doesn't want either of those things to be harmed, because it's almost like she loses her job. Her husband leaves her. If she divorces him, she's even more at risk of losing her job. But she's balancing a lot of things. And she's in those a lot of things that she's balancing. She's trying to, she's trying to keep her husband happy, keep the marriage arranged, and keep her private life from going public. She's also trying to keep other people out of her seat. She's trying to keep her contracts, and she's trying to keep her audience happy and away from wanting to know about her personal life. So the next question that I have is, what happened when she fainted on national TV? Spirit is saying that she was really overworked. She had been overworked. I feel as though she had she was overworked. I feel like she just didn't have enough energy that day. She was under a ton of stress, and she already has like a blood issue. It's something dealing with the heart. I wouldn't say that she had a heart attack, but I feel as though not enough blood was pumping in her body. She was dehydrated. She already has some illness that she's dealing with, and it's just on that day, she was not able to keep up with the work demand. I feel as though she was running on fumes, and she fell out. That's how I see it. How does she feel about Whitney Houston threatening her in her interview with Whitney? Well, Wendy is somebody that she tries to find the silver lining in everything, right? So she felt like the Wendy interview, not the Wendy. Wendy felt like Whitney Houston threatening her in the interview was a great thing for ratings, but she knew that she would have to carry around a burden, that she's now stigmatized as, the reporter that got threatened by Whitney Houston. The Ada Swartz is saying that she felt trapped or tied up in the particular interview. She felt like she couldn't go any further. She was actually afraid that Whitney Houston was going to follow through with the threats that she made to her, and she knew that she couldn't go any further, even though she really wanted to. Wendy was very much caught off guard by Whitney's Whitney's threat / promise. Hold on one second. Whitney and Wendy had a pretty decent relationship, but Whitney felt like Wendy Williams stabbed her in the back with those questions. And that was the end of their relationship after that. And Whitney meant what she said, because she felt like, she's like, you're supposed to be my girl in this industry. You're supposed to have my back. And how dare you do this? Try to embarrass me on camera. I'm going to embarrass you on camera. That's how Whitney was about the situation. And Wendy Williams felt, on one hand, it's like, she's like, oh, Whitney, what? Whitney is my friend. But I have to also do my job. But it was great for the ratings, and I'm just thankful that I didn't have to call the cops on her. Wendy was a little bit shaken by Whitney's threat, and she was I don't get that Whitney had Wendy Williams so shaken that she needed to have someone escort her to her car. I get that Wendy knew that if she asked one more question, that things like she would have really had high ratings for that particular interview, because Whitney was going to very much react in an incredibly negative way. Okay, so I get now the next question is, how does how does Wendy Williams feel about Biggie, the Notorious B.I.G.? Well, they were good friends. They were good friends, and they made money together. I feel as though she helped to promote his music by covering his stories. I also get that they had a very creative relationship with each other. But I mean it as in, it was kind of like, kind of a love-hate relationship with one another. But I'm also getting that Wendy Williams betrayed him a lot in the media. I feel as though, again, it was one of those situations like, you're supposed to be my friend, but you're definitely not my friend. But Biggie knew that he needed Wendy to report about him. Let me make sure that I'm reading into this situation correctly. Hold on one second. Wendy, they had a. I mean, I don't want to say that they were friends. I want to actually retract that. I don't want to say that they were friends. I want to say it as Biggie didn't respect Wendy Williams' profession, but he respected the hustle. And I feel as though Biggie just had to swallow, he had to eat 2-3 miles of shit just to get his stuff played. And he hated that Wendy Williams had his name in her mouth. I would say that they started off with a friendship because she was good to him at first, but then she started reporting the truth, and then she started reporting falsehoods about him, and he just didn't deal with her like that anymore. Okay, so the next sets of questions that I have are about how does she feel about Mariah Carey? How does she feel about Puffy firing her from Hot 97? And how does she feel after Tyler Perry refused to do her show because she accused him of being gay? Here's another relationship that went down the drain. I feel like she and Mariah Carey had a decent business relationship, but it went down the drain because Wendy Williams followed by her own rules and betrayed Mariah Carey. I don't get that they really have a relationship like that. Mariah Mariah is Mariah. She's been at a she's typically she doesn't really think about Wendy Williams like that. She just knows that she's like, Wendy's a snake. I know she's a snake, but that's she's beneath me, sort of thing. I get that about her. She doesn't feel that Wendy can reach her. As far as like, she's like, Wendy can say whatever she wants to say about me, but she doesn't, walk in the same rooms that I walk in. She's not invited to the places I'm invited for the same reasons. And because of that, Mariah Carey feels a lot bit holier than thou than her. Mariah feels like Wendy, she rationalizes it as Wendy Williams is jealous of the amount of money that she has. Wendy feels like she's just reporting the truth, and she's like, sometimes it just comes at the expense of my friends. So if you ask Wendy, she would say that she's friends with Mariah, and she would say that she would say pretty decent things about her. But I'm saying it like this. She's gonna say it in a shady way, like, "Oh, we're friends," but she doesn't really mean that. She's hoping that you pick up on the fact that they're not really friends. But she says it she would say it as a way to like agitate Mariah. The Ace of Coins, the Ace of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. These things are saying. These cards are saying to me, the arithmetic is telling me that Wendy Williams feels like, she has to suppress her feelings, just do her job, tell the truth, get her check. And she's like, Mariah's just, if you didn't do it, we can't misconstrue it, sort of thing. That's Wendy's politic. Okay. So how does she feel after Puffy fired her from Hot 97? Well, she was. Wendy had. Let me put it this way: she landed on her feet. I don't get that she was humiliated. She was angry. However, she was angry with Puff Daddy because she invested a lot into building his platform, and she was its backbone. She was kind of becoming like the face of it, but even for the wrong reasons. But it was like, you're messing with Puff. Like Puff felt like, you're messing with my money. When do you gonna cost me endorsements? You gonna cost me sponsorships? I can't be doing this with you. People, your reputation's awful. Your reputation's always gonna be awful. He talked down to her, but that's what made her angry. With that being said, she landed on her feet. I don't get that she's like, she's like, I don't fuck with him, sort of thing, but she's not gunning for him. She looks at it as like, just like an internship. It's like she reduces it to that so that she doesn't feel so angry by it. Because her feeling angry means that she would have to be hurt by it, and she keeps her feelings to herself. So she definitely was angry at it, and she was angry at the way that Puff Daddy spoke about her reputation and her being a liability rather than a resource to the platform that he was working on, to Hot 97. Sorry. So how did How did Tyler Perry feel after he refused to do? No, how did she feel after Tyler Perry refused to do her show because she accused him of being gay? She was pissed. She was pissed because she's like, well, he is gay. That's what she said. She's like, well, he is gay. Why would he get mad at that? You know, he could have come onto the show and addressed that with me. He could have come onto the show and he could have said that to me, and I would have brought it up. I would have just asked a couple of questions, and he has the opportunity to defend himself. The Five of Cups is saying that she was frustrated. She's like, you know, he messed up my project. She didn't care. She didn't care. She cared more about him refusing to do the interview. She didn't care about the reason that he did it. She didn't feel like she was doing anything wrong. The strength card is like, she's like, you know, if he wasn't, then he's strong enough to come on the show and defend himself. And the Queen of Swords is like, she's being very militant about this, a strategist. She's like, that would have helped my show, period. So it's a loss. She felt like this overall was just a complete loss for her. All right, so now I'm going to switch to another deck. The last three questions I'm going to ask are, what happened between she and Tupac after she reported he had been raped in jail? Has she had any affairs outside of her? Has Wendy had any affairs outside of her marriage to Kevin? And I want to know, why does she support R. Kelly? Hold on one second. Whoops. Okay, so now we're going to figure out what happened between Wendy Williams and Tupac after she reported that he had been raped in jail. Well, this is saying that Wendy Williams was being obedient to her ancestors. She was doing she was being obedient to her ancestors. Her ancestors want her to, you know, do what she does for a living, and do it in a way that she loves it. Love what she does for a living and live what she loves. And that's what the card of participation is talking about. The conditioning card is saying that It's saying that, you know, Tupac found, you know, then realized that, you know, Wendy Williams was a wolf in sheep's clothing. The laziness card is saying that Wendy Williams was way too egotistical to apologize. She's like, you know, why would I apologize, you know, for that? You know, it's the truth. He can speak on it. You know, there's evidence of it. And the evidence that she had was like, you know, I feel like she may have recorded a phone call or she knew someone that would have corroborated the story. The card for the lovers, the card for the miser, the card for control is saying that Tupac wanted to strike back at her by, you know, by spilling her business and talking about her relationship. He also talked about her being a gold digger, wanting a lot of money. And the card for control is saying that he tried to get her to lose her platform in some way. And he was trying to really shine a light on, you know, how he's like, you know, she's a vile woman. You know, she stabbed me in the back. She will throw you under the bus type of thing. Let me see. Hold on one second. I'm going to see more into this. The card for guilt, the card for suppression, the card for creativity is saying that Wendy Williams suppressed her guilt. Like, she suppressed her guilt to just continue doing her work. I think that also hurt Tupac, and it made her appear to be heartless to him. Tupac then saw through the illusion that was Wendy Williams, and he saw that at her core, he's like, at her core, she's a messy person, and she's going, that's just what she does. That's how she has to do it, and he felt that he felt that she was a burden to deal with. He's like, I don't have to deal with her. There are other, media outlets that I can go to. She will talk about me, but she's never going to get, she's never going to one up me in that way again. Okay. And then Tupac felt like he was hurt by what she said. He didn't like that got out there. He felt like that made him appear weak, and he felt like she was pushing an agenda to show that he was less macho, like he was less of a man. That because that happened to him. That he's not this hardcore thug. That he's kind of soft, and that's a weak spot. That's a weak point for him, and that further drove a rift between the two of them. I want to know, has she had any affairs outside of her marriage? No, Wendy's I get that Wendy's been pretty faithful to Kevin. I don't get that she's tried to step out. I get that she's, going on different dinners with guys. She doesn't have the courage to step out. But with that, but I do think that Wendy Williams has had a threesome with I feel like I feel as though these cards are saying that Wendy Williams, in this arranged marriage, her husband's arranged, a two-party encounters with him. I don't get that it's an affair. I get that, he's had her, he's had his this other woman or other women that he deals with, and he's had, Wendy Williams. The card for silence, the card for rebirth, and the card for courage. These cards are saying that she keeps very quiet about the things that happen in her marriage. She doesn't step out because she doesn't want it to be real. She doesn't want it to feel real for her. She doesn't want to feel as though she likes pretending to play house, and stepping out of her marriage would further validate that there's that her and her husband are not seeing eye to eye. And finally, why does she support R. Kelly? Spirit is saying that she feels like she has to support R. Kelly because he's been a good friend to her. She felt like she was just going with the flow of loyalty. She was doing what she needed to do to use her platform to clear her friend's name. She felt it was the best opportunity to do it because a lot of the people in the media were scrutinizing and criticizing her friend. She felt it was unfair. The card for letting go is she feels like there were a lot of things that they were bringing up from the past that just weren't valid to bring up. My camera's about to die, so with that said, thank you for tuning in to thank you for tuning in to the Secret Service's Celebrity Psychic Readings. Please purchase a psychic reading by going to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com. I'm sorry that I have to cut this short, but that's pretty much what I have to say about her relationship with R. Kelly. Essentially, I'm saying that she felt that she needs to defend her friend. She felt like people are holding on to things that they need that are old, and she felt it was the perfect opportunity to do it, given that there was this huge discourse around him, and it would bring ratings to her show, and she could also defend her friend and kill like 3 birds with 1 stone. With all that being said, make sure that you purchase a private psychic reading. Thank you all for tuning in. The camera's about to die. All right, y'all. Bye.
It's been a long time, but I still got love for you, and that won't ever change. San Jose, they say it never rains in Southern California, but it's boring in the Bay. San Jose, girl, I know we tried to tell ourselves those lies.